This tip is about prioritizing yourself, putting yourself first. And the question you need to ask yourself really is, are you a yes person? And there's nothing wrong with, volunteering to take on tasks or to help people. Of course not. And having a can-do attitude is a fantastic thing. However, you just need to ask yourself whether saying yes can be to the detriment of yourself. And I've been in this position many times. I'm definitely a person who will go out and help anyone. And, I have found that I've been stung in the past, because of that, because you give too much of yourself and then you end up depleting your own energy and ending up becoming stressed because of it. So the first question to ask really is, are you a yes person? And are you finding that you are becoming emotionally depleted, through helping others, because you're giving so much of yourself to others? Or perhaps you're struggling through toxic relationships that don't add any value or happiness to your life. And being a yes person doesn't normally extend just to your personal life. It normally expands into your work life as well. So one thing that you can end up being guilty of is always having that sort of fear of missing out on an opportunity. And you'll be the first one to always, volunteer yourself for a course or an extra, task at work, to maybe win favour with your management or show that you've got a can-do attitude. And there's nothing wrong with the intention behind that, but again, is it beneficial to you in the longer term if you're adding so much workload to your life? Because what tends to happen, and I found this in my own career, is when you volunteer yourself for work, managers tend to reward you by giving you more work, and without perhaps considering whether you've got the capacity to actually take that work on. So it's important to consider this, because this can really backfire and make other areas of your work suffer, which can create a problem overall. So just consider in terms of the workplace, for example, whether there are things that can be delegated or shared amongst the team. There is an art in delegation and teamwork. So try not to take on too much and try to control everything, because the workload can end up spiraling out of your control anyway. Now, it's very important just to keep an eye on your workload, of course, and being open and honest. Okay, you can explain why having a heavier workload will affect other areas of your work and productivity, and that can be quantified just through some analysis and discussion. And a decent boss will be able to quickly see if that is if you're taking on too much with demonstrable evidence. So think about the tasks that don't need priority as well. Just focus on what the most important things are to get done, because often things, the things can wait until tomorrow more often than not. There's not so many things in a day that, it's rare that they're business critical things that, come up. And if they are, you prioritize them. But normally you can chalk off the most important tasks and then make a start on the less important ones the next day, for example, or delegate it out to a colleague and so on. If you're a student who's stressed out about your course workload, consider taking on a lighter one next term, or if it's too late, you might consider dropping one that you're currently enrolled on, but that you might not require or need. Okay, that's not critical to your future plans going forward. And perhaps you're studying and working full time. Maybe a consideration could be to consider doing a part-time course or working part-time if that's financially viable. But the key is getting there at the end, but getting there productively. So maybe you spend do the course part-time and spend more time on the course, but at least you're getting qualified and you're not overloading yourself and then ending up in a situation where you might just drop it completely. So above all else, so be selective over your overall workload and what favours you do for people. Prioritize household chores, what need to be done, what bills need to be paid first, and just know when to say no, because there's nothing wrong with saying no. Because if you think about it this way, you want to be at your best to help someone anyway. If you're depleted yourself, it's very difficult for you to offer any meaningful help. And actually, if you think about it, someone who is asking for your help will understand, that you might feel overwhelmed by taking on more stress. That's the reason that they're asking for help in the first place. So they'll understand that position of being in a place of being stressed. So just don't take up too much on your plate. Prioritize your tasks by way of importance, and just be honest with yourself and with others about what is within your realms of capacity and what isn't, and that will just help you help yourself to be less stressed, and it will help you to be at your best to complete the tasks that you need to do and to be in the best position possible to help others in the first place. So learn to say no and put yourself